Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I sit here thinking about Brook Quartermaine Chase and her handsome husband, Harrison Chase, and my heart just swells for them. Bless their hearts. They have been through the ringer over the years, and all they ever wanted was a beautiful family to call their own. Right now, they are living in what they think is pure domestic bliss. They are looking at little baby Phoebe, rocking her to sleep, planning her first days of school, and dreaming about all those wonderful family holidays. They believe with every fiber of their being that they are safe and secure. They went through all the proper legal channels, dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's. They opted for a completely closed adoption, thinking that would be the big iron shield, protecting their little family from any outside storms. They genuinely believe that the man who signed away his parental rights was the real father, and now they can just ride off into the sunset. But oh boy, if I have learned anything from life and from watching this town, it is that the calmest waters usually hide the biggest undertows. You see, the man who signed those papers was none other than Ethan Lovett. Now, Ethan is a charmer, a bit of a rogue, but he has a good heart buried under all that mischief. He pulled the wool over Chase and Brooklyn's eyes, and he did it with a completely straight face. He convinced everyone, including the sharp-as-a-tack lawyer Alexis Davis, that he was the biological father of that sweet little girl. And why did he do it? Well, it all goes back to a promise he made to poor Delilah Wilson. When Ethan found out that Delilah had passed away, it hit him hard. He swore on his life that he would protect her deepest, darkest secret. Delilah was absolutely terrified of the real father, and she ran all the way to Port Charles just to escape his shadow. Ethan, wanting to be the knight in shining armor for a woman who could no longer protect herself, decided he would take the fall. He claimed that baby as his own just to make sure she ended up in a loving, safe home, far away from the danger that was lurking in the background. It is a noble thing, in a twisted sort of way, but you know what they say about the road to hell being paved with good intentions. Now, you might be wondering how in the world Ethan managed to fool Alexis Davis and the entire legal system. Well, let me tell you, it was a real piece of work. Ethan actually went and swiped a DNA sample to fake the paternity test. I reckon he got his hands on it from the local police station, the PCPD, probably from some past arrest involving the real father. He used that stolen sample to rig the whole system, making it look plain as day on paper that he was the daddy. That is exactly why Ethan was so incredibly stubborn about making it a completely closed adoption. He practically demanded that the files be sealed up tight, never to be opened again until the end of time. He was terrified that if anyone ever went poking around in those records, the whole house of cards would come tumbling down. He thought he was being so clever, locking away the truth in a dusty old filing cabinet, thinking that would be the end of the story forever. And Ethan did not stop there. He had to bring Ava Jerome into this messy web of secrets. Now, Ava is not exactly known for being a trusting soul. She has been around the block more times than a mail truck, and she naturally suspected something was fishy. She had her doubts about Ethan's story from the get-go, but then something wild happened. Ethan literally took a bullet for Ava. He put his own life on the line to save hers. Well, in Ava's world, loyalty like that is worth its weight in gold. After he took that bullet, her whole attitude changed. She decided right then and there that she owed him, and she agreed to keep her lips zipped about the baby. She became his silent partner in this massive cover-up, protecting the secret of Phoebe's true parentage with everything she had. It just goes to show you how strange bedfellows can get when push comes to shove. But here is where the rubber meets the road, folks. The real father is a man named Hudson Tucker. And let me be perfectly clear, this is not a man you want to mess with. Hudson is dangerous, he is intimidating, and he has a presence that just makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. When Hudson first showed his face in Port Charles, Ethan absolutely panicked. I mean, he took one look at the guy and practically ran for the hills. Ethan knew exactly what Hudson was capable of, and he knew that if Hudson ever found out about little Phoebe, all hell would break loose. Ethan's fear was not just for himself, it was for that innocent little baby who was sleeping soundly in Brooklyn's arms. He thought he could just disappear and take the secret with him, but Hudson is like a bloodhound on a scent. Once he gets a whiff of something, he does not ever let it go. Hudson went on a relentless hunt for answers about Delilah and the baby she was carrying. His search took him all the way across the globe to Norway, of all places. He tracked Ethan down in the freezing cold and confronted him. And when I say confronted, I mean he beat the living daylights out of him. It was brutal, and Ethan was backed into a corner with nowhere left to run. Under all that pressure and physical pain, Ethan finally cracked just a little bit. He admitted the tragic truth that Delilah had indeed passed away. But even while he was battered and bruised, Ethan clung to his promise to Delilah. He looked Hudson right in the eye and lied through his teeth, telling him that the baby had died too. He thought that if Hudson believed the child was gone, he would finally pack up his bags and move on with his life, leaving Port Charles and little Phoebe alone forever. But Ethan made one massive, catastrophic mistake. He underestimated just how cunning Hudson Tucker really is. Hudson might be a lot of things, but he certainly is not a fool. While he was in Ethan's room, Hudson managed to plant a tiny listening device. A bug! Can you believe it? Ethan thought he had won the battle, thinking he had sent Hudson packing with a sad story. But all the while, Hudson was listening in on every whisper, every phone call, every secret conversation Ethan had in that room. And that is exactly how Hudson discovered the earth-shattering truth. He heard enough to piece it together. His baby did not die, his little girl is very much alive, and she is living right under his nose. Just imagine the absolute shock and the fiery rage that must have boiled up inside him when he realized he had been played for a fool. This week, things are reaching an absolute boiling point. Hudson is finally going to lay eyes on his daughter for the very first time. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Picture this. Hudson, this tough, dangerous man who has been searching for answers, finally seeing that sweet little face. Will it soften his hardened heart, or will it just throw gasoline on the fire of his anger? When a man like that realizes his flesh and blood has been given away to another family, the reaction is not going to be pretty. He is going to look at Brooklyn and Chase, the people who have been loving and raising his child, and he is not going to see devoted parents. He is going to see thieves who stole what rightfully belongs to him. The emotional explosion that is about to happen is going to shake the very foundations of that town. My heart just aches for Brooklyn and Chase. They are completely oblivious to the massive storm that is barreling down on them. They are out there buying baby clothes and taking cute pictures, having no earthly idea that a dangerous man is watching from the shadows, knowing that their little Phoebe is actually his. When the truth finally comes out, and it always does, their entire world is going to be ripped apart at the seams. The legal battle alone is going to be a nightmare. Even though they have those adoption papers, the fact that Ethan committed fraud to get them signed is going to throw the whole case into chaos. A judge is going to have to look at a fraudulent paternity test, a stolen DNA sample, and a biological father who was denied his rights. It is going to be an absolute circus, and the ones who will suffer the most are Brook, Chase, and that precious baby. And think about the ripple effect this is going to have on everyone else involved. Alexis is going to be furious when she finds out her legal expertise was used to facilitate a fraud. Her reputation could be on the line, and she does not take kindly to being manipulated. Then there is Ava. When Hudson finds out she knew the truth and kept it hidden, there is no telling what he might do to her. Ava is a tough cookie, but Hudson is a whole different breed of trouble. And Ethan? Well, Ethan might have to go on the run for the rest of his life. He poked a sleeping bear, and now the bear is awake and hungry for vengeance. Every single person who had a hand in keeping this secret is going to have to face the music, and the piper is demanding a very heavy payment. It is a classic tale of secrets breeding more secrets until the whole thing just collapses under its own weight. I just cannot pull myself away from the screen right now. It is like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You know it is going to end in disaster, but you just cannot look away. As someone who has watched these families grow, fight, love, and lose over the decades, this storyline hits right at the core of what makes these stories so compelling. It is about family, the lengths we will go to protect the innocent, and the devastating consequences of our actions, even when they are born out of love. I will be sitting right here on the edge of my seat, waiting to see what happens the moment Hudson steps out of the shadows and claims what is his. Grab your tissues, folks, because I have a strong feeling there are going to be a lot of tears shed before this is all over. It is going to be a wild ride, and I am so glad we get to experience it all together.